I pointed out on Twitter the other day the parallels between the new Doctor Who and the new Acolyte. And it's almost identical to how they've run a cynical marketing campaign out of Disney to push their DEI agenda over this show and storytelling. I should really do an in-depth analysis on this, but I really want to get into the media and how they've basically the more honest people in the media are admitting the Acolyte sucks finally, and this is exactly what happened with Doctor Who at the end of the show as well. Now there's still weirdos out there like Alyssa Mercante trying to get some clickbait engagement and try to stand for this stuff. But for the most part, it's universally realized that the Acolyte is just a complete train wreck. It really is. Despite their protesting about review bombs, that's what's happening. So my tweet ended up like this. One, you make a show about identity politics and DEI. Doctor Who is clearly that. Nikuti Gatwa was hired specifically for that. So was Amanda Stenberg. Very obvious on that. Then both shows and both actors and writers went out and preemptively called the fans racists. Then, when the show's initial ratings came out, they said, "Oh, the ratings don't tell the full story. It's really doing great." And sure enough, as the ratings developed, the ratings were very poor for both shows. Next, they claim the racist fans are hurting the shows. Well, wait a minute. If the ratings were so good, why are the racist fans hurting the shows? And with Doctor Who, it was a big thing of, it's really sad they're not watching. It's not performing as well as we wished. And with the Acolyte, we of course had the whole discourse thing going on with her cringy music video. It was absolutely crazy. Then they ignore fan reaction, keep claiming the show is great. Of course, the critic scores were off the charts at the beginning for both of these shows. The ratings collapsed further. And then they claim the youth love it. They say that the ratings may be down, but they've got a younger demographic watching this, and it's bigger than ever before. Of course, they never show those numbers. They just make that narrative to you. And then finally, close to the finale, the critics admit the show is bad. This happened with Doctor Who as the British press just savaged the two-part finale because it was a huge letdown from Russell T Davies. He built up these mysteries, did his whole words placed, and nothing turned out or mattered. It turned out it was a big dud. Very sad ending to a very sad show. And then The Acolyte with its 7th episode, I just did a review yesterday if you missed it, literally was just rehashed footage from the 3rd episode, which was a flashback exposition, but this one explained what really happened. And it narratively is a train wreck. It is actually worse than Doctor Who, because at least Doctor Who had some entertainment value to it at some point. This Acolyte has nothing. But they're finally changing their tunes on this, and let's get into that news and look at the media reactions very shortly. My name's John Delarose. I am a #1 best-selling science fiction author, and I would love for you, one, to subscribe to the channel, of course, and I did also intend to tell you, go to my Twitter and or X or whatever you call it. Sorry to dead name X. Sign up here, too. I'm almost to 10,000 followers, and I appreciate you hanging out there, too. I love interacting with my friends here. But my science fiction novel is just strictly better than Star Wars, and you will love it if you love the old Star Wars. I'm going to put this link in the description below. There's a full trilogy in classic Star Wars fashion, and you'll really love this this weekend. And thank you so much for reading. We've had a great few months, and as you can see, the ratings are fantastic for real on my Justified book, and I appreciate you for being there. All right, so Grace Randolph has turned on the Acolyte finally. Now, Grace Randolph is a complete media shill. If you don't know who she is, she's got a giant YouTube channel. She just reviews things and just simps for Disney the entire time. And she's been on board with this whole Acolyte is really better than you think it is up until this point. She finally admits this show is awful. And this really goes to show, it's much like the American election. Like they kept saying Joe Biden's fine. He's doing a great job as president. He's mentally fit. And then you saw the debate, and you saw that they couldn't drug him up for 2 hours to talk for 2 hours. And you could tell the media turned on him on a dime. And it was all lies. And it was all lies just to perpetuate the media clout status. It's a whole thing. Now, the entertainment media is very similar. They actually get access to Disney. A major YouTuber is a friend of mine, much bigger than this channel, and he used to be on a Disney access list where they'd actually give him scoops and things like that ahead of time. But once he started getting critical of Disney, they removed him from all their press lists, and that's how it went. Disney controls the access, and you better be in line with what they say. or you're going to lose a lot of your clout and lose a lot of what happens with your periodicals. This is very much true. And so Grace Randolph is one of those who has built herself off of, of course, one, getting simps, and number two, making Disney, give her some scoops and things like that based on her coverage. So here's what she says. She says, "Aw, man, that was awful." So she knows, everybody knows that The Acolyte is truly an awful show. There's a reason that it's at a 14% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and that reason is not review bombing. It is the fact that the show is just completely terrible. The audience came in, and they actually said that the show is bad. And it's not a review bomb. It's not it's not some racist just doing this. It's the fact that they made a bad show. It's finally starting to come out. And actually the critic rating's starting to drop after episode 7 just a little bit. You're seeing a little bit of the chinks in the armor now. And once they have the finale and it doesn't pan out, because it's not going to, this woman's not a good writer. Leslie Headland is just out there pushing her identity politics stuff, pushing her DEI stuff. She turned the Jedi into bad people because, honestly, the Jedi are a representation of, traditional religion, right? And they're stodgy, they're bad, they make stupid mistakes, they ruin everybody's lives. And then the dark side, the lesbian Force space witches, the Sith, they're actually the good guys who are just trying for freedom. They just want to express themselves. And so they're a representation of the, quote, LGBT community. You can't make this stuff up. And everybody knows the Sith are actually bad guys. So, it has a kernel of truth to it, because these SJWs even fail at their own narratives because they can't lie that hard. And that's exactly what's happening here. And it's not panning out because the show's so bad. So she says, "I think it's funny that the anti-Acolyte people are yelling shill at anyone who likes it." This was before. It's June 6th. Big difference between July 9th and June 6th. And yet the hate is largely driven by people who are making money off of it, a.k.a. grifters. So this was their narrative for a long time, and you could see that it fell apart after they, stopped lying about it. Now, Grace Randolph now, of course, is telling the truth finally after she can't hide how bad the episode is. But there's one person who will never tell the truth because she's such a liar, such a grifter for real. And that's our good friend Alyssa Mercante at Kotaku. And here it is. "If you're mad about The Acolyte, you haven't been paying attention to Star Wars." Now, last week, she put out a shilly episode saying how the sexualized naked man Sith was a fantastic thing, and it's a great element of fandom that they're appealing to. I mean, it was one of the cringiest articles I've ever seen, and we did a video on that already you can look at, too. But here it is. The latest episode of Disney Plus Star Wars series shows the dangers of a Jedi's hubris. So she's actually glad that the Jedi are being portrayed as bad guys, and that they're doing a rehash episode. She's not going to get into the fact that this is a $180 million show, and then half the footage of their 7th of 8th episodes was just a re-showing of the 3rd episode. I mean, it's insane. I don't know where they spent the money on this show. It doesn't make any sense. But she says it's open about its intentions from the jump, portray the Jedi Order as the height of its power, and show how they are responsible for their own fall from grace, the same fall we watched play out in the prequels 20 years ago. So that's not exactly what happened in the prequels. There were corrupt people in the government who effed over the Jedi, namely Palpatine, who was a Sith agent who was screwing things up. The Jedi were just caught unaware as they're just trying to do the right thing. This is quite the opposite. This is really subversive of the Jedi, and it's disgusting. This is not Lucas's vision, despite her attempt to say this. This is a complete lie by Alyssa Mercante, as usual. But despite the Acolyte's consistency in depicting that vision, yeah, it's consistent within the Acolyte, correct. They've consistently said Jedi bad, Sith good, and it's been terrible. We hate that. It doesn't make any sense. But listen, this is how she portrays anybody who actually tells the truth about this. The fetid Sarlacc pit that is the certain corner of Star Wars fandom continues to insist the series is breaking canon. Yes, it is. It's not breaking canon within the Acolyte. We never said that. We said it's breaking canon within the context of all of Star Wars. And yes, it is. Multiple times. It's been demonstrated true. They've even edited the Wikipedia to pretend it wasn't true and got caught because of it. I mean, geez. It's destroying lore and otherwise ruining a piece of media they've made entire personality. The latest episode only fueled those fires, even though it echoes sentiments from the Phantom Menace. It did not at all. and I already explained why. So you can see that Alyssa Mercante and Kotaku are still going to circle the drain of lies in order to shill for these corporations. They definitely just love to fly in the face of the fans, and Kotaku's website is all about hating fans. We saw this with Sweet Baby Inc. in the video game situations, and it's doubling down further. But Grace Randolph has a much, much higher reach than Alyssa Mercante ever will, and with her saying something like this, we're going to see the dominoes start to fall within bigger media outlets. I guarantee you we're going to start seeing bad reviews from Forbes, bad reviews from different more credible reviewers, and this is going to be the end of the Acolyte. And I don't think we'll see a season 2 with this kind of reception. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Make sure to follow me over on Twitter and hit the like and subscribe button here, guys. I appreciate all the Star Wars fans, and I appreciate science fiction readers the most. This link's in the description below. Thank you guys again.